Hello and welcome to a Tuesday afternoon Savage Universe stream. I'm J-M and I have with me Manu. Manu, thanks for jumping on in the late night for you, middle of the day for me. You were supposed to be on the SWAGtember stream, but time zones are hard and I screwed up. So
well, it happens to the best of us. No worry, and thank you so much for having me back. It's always an absolute pleasure to be here on the Savage Universe show.
I am so glad that you are here. I'm looking forward to talking with you. So if people somehow don't know how you are interacting with Swag, tell us what you had in the bundle, how you got involved with Swag, what you are known for.
Oh boy. Well, I'm probably mostly known for being that Sprawl Runners guy.
You are that Sprawl Runners guy, and I love it.
That is pretty much what I'm known for, but it's not how I started out with Swag. So back when Swag was announced, a lot of us hobby publisher creators got together, and I will freely admit our first reaction was not that enthusiastic, because there were thoughts like, oh, that's just another step into over commercialization of the hobby, and everybody's just gonna jump onto Swag, and there's gonna be barely any fan products left, because most of us had been writing fan material at that point, and we just published that for free. And then Swag came around, and we watched what happened. And what happened was a really, really positive thing. And the first thing I put out on Swag was Distant Journeys. Distant Journeys was like a really like most of my stuff on Swag is really short stuff, but it was a really short, concise product with a very, very narrow focus, and it came out of a brainstorming session on the unofficial Savage Worlds Discord server, where we just brainstormed an idea we picked up from another RPG, and I was like, do you guys mind if I just put this together into like a short 4-page thing and publish it on Swag, and we see what happens? And everybody was super supportive and super positive, and they were like, yeah, no, sure, go for it. So I did a quick layout oriented on the default layout example that PEG published. Put that out, and yeah, the rest is history, as they say. So the SWAGtember bundle, that is the brainchild of Richard Zadma Woolcock, who is in chat right now. Hi Richard, thank you for dropping in.
Hey Richard, and Robin Savage is right. We got one more week till Gamehole Con. I will be there, by the way, running Doomguard. So come over to Demo Row if you are out there and say hi. All right, go ahead.
Oh man, I'm so envious of the United States and Canadian folks, because you've got so many conventions over there you guys get to go to. And yeah, us Euros, we're still working on that, but it's a lot smaller and a lot more localized.
Yeah.
So yeah, SWAGtember, like SWAGtember was like well, the first one, yeah, 5 years ago already. Damn it, we're on SWAGtember 5.
We are.
It's actually insane thinking about that it's been 5 years already. I mean, 2019 was my first few, and then the big release. No, the big release was 2020. I'm really good with dates, especially when it regards my own products. And I don't even remember how Richard came up with it. I think it was just like the usual thing Richard does. He's like, oh, hey guys, I had this idea, which then turns out to be something absolutely amazing.
Amazing, yeah.
2019, the before times indeed. Hi, Trick. And at that point, I had two things out. I had Distant Journeys out, and I had Fastlane Hacking out. And so, yeah, we put that in the bundle. And at that point, the Swag bundle wasn't as it is now with a fixed price. Back then, we just collected as many products as we could from Swag creators on the unofficial Savage Worlds Discord server. And everything was half off. And we just made a bundle out of that. And over the years, we got so many more creators onto that server. So the bundle grew and grew. And it was last year, I think, when Richard said, okay, we should probably cap the price because we got so many people doing so much cool stuff. If we put that into the bundle is still going to be like $50, $60, and that's a bit much. So he came up with a sweet spot of a price, which is $30. And yeah, for $30,
it was a great deal this year.
Yeah, this year I had also 2 more products in. Furious Hacking and Furious Magic, I believe, were both.
I have Furious Magic right here printed out because I use Furious Magic for my my home game. Crucible Realms game. I loved Furious Magic, and so that's what we transitioned into off stream.
Nice. Yeah. I'm so glad to hear. I'm always so happy to hear from people that, I mean, of course, I'm happy to hear from people who are using it, who are trying it out. But also every time I just get like the random tidbit from people. Oh, you're that guy. Yeah, I use this and that of your product, and my table absolutely loves it. And that is, it sounds so cliche to say it, but that is really the thing that makes it worth it.
Yeah.
We can, of course, Swag gives us a platform to monetize our work, which now that it's been up a few years and everybody has found his or her or their groove, that's great that we can monetize stuff because it allows us to do stuff we couldn't before. Like, okay, my day job pays me enough that I could afford buying stock art and everything. But at this point, I have made enough money from selling on Swag that for my next big product, I don't have a problem thinking about, okay, cool, so who do I hire to do layout?
Yeah.
And who do I which artist do I pick out to commission artwork from? And and I'm starting to juggle numbers like, can I afford to have every piece of artwork in the entire book being commissioned? Does that mean I'd have to scale back on artwork? Yeah. But I can make something that just looks so much better than what I would have been able to do on my own. And I feel like our initial black cloud of, oh, it's over commercialization of the hobby and everything. Yes, it's commercialization, but it's also feeding back into a big circle of other creators like artists and editors and layout people. These guys need to eat too. Yeah. So we support a lot more than just giving Pinnacle a few percent, which I believe is the lowest of any.
I think
of the creator programs that exist. And also just as a random bit, because many people do not know this, when you publish on Swag, you retain all rights to your material 100%. Pinnacle take a small cut of your profits, and that is it. And that is something no other creator program does on Drive-Thru RPG. Right. You are always selling, so to speak, or signing over of the rights to what you create to a varying degree, with I believe the GM skill being the harshest. Like, they can just use whatever you publish there, and I don't think they have to credit you, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So that's another big plus for being
so if Sprawl Runners gets a TV show, you get all of the rights.
If a studio ever comes a knocking, then I would be in 100% creative control, which is absolutely awesome. It allowed me to do some great things. Like, Sprawl Runners got at this point a multi-language release because it's available in Portuguese,
which is awesome.
Yeah, and there have been talks with other publishers for other languages, but that's something I cannot go into details yet, because while we have contracts, they have not announced it yet. So but that may happen. So that may happen to others as well. It's sometimes you just need a bit of luck and having the right platform. And Swag has shown that it is a solid and awesome platform to enable the creators on it.
My wife's favorite quote from Seneca is, "Luck is when preparation meets opportunity." And
yep.
So HBO Europe, if you're listening, I know you've done 30 coins, and I can't wait for 30 coins season 2 to drop here in like 2 weeks. But I really need you to make a Sprawl Runners TV show of similar quality.
Well, for that we'd have to make a setting to accompany Sprawl Runners first, because as I never tire of telling people, Sprawl Runners is not a setting. Sprawl Runners is a framework,
yep.
And you're supposed to make your own setting for it. So, but if you could get like the writers who made season 1 and season 2 of Sons of Anarchy, I'd be perfectly down with sitting down with these guys.
If you're watching, just call us. Epic Die just got on here and said, got here late, but I wanted to say thank you for Sprawl Runners. Huge fan of Cyberpunk and its material that it inspired. Thanks a bunch.
Thank you so much for the kind words and for the encouragement. It's stuff like that just keeps me going.
Well, Richard asked the question that I asked. Like, it's a little early where I'm at. It's a little late where you are. Whiskey and Wildcards, is that an actual thing, or do we need to start that show, Richard? Because that is...
Oh, Whiskey and Wildcards is a thing. Whiskey and Wildcards is the podcast I run with Vasant, and we review Savage Worlds products of all couleur and a whiskey each episode. I'm actually using my limited edition Whiskey and Wildcards tumbler right now to drink tonight. Limited edition, as in there are exactly 2 in existence. Vasant has one, and I have one.
Very limited.
Because setting up merch is hard, and with the numbers we'd sell, probably not worth the hassle. But to answer the actual question, tonight's whiskey is a Dalwhinnie 15 years Highland Scotch.
So I've got to ask, just when it comes to the different regions of Scotland, I'm a huge fan of the Islay, the real smoky, peaty stuff. Are you a fan of the peaty stuff? Or are you more, because the Highland tends to be more on the fruity side of the spectrum? More. I
like basically all varieties they offer. I'm a huge whiskey fan in general. I tend to drink Scotch mostly, but I have, on recommendation, tried a few bourbons that I found to work really, really well. Like Four Roses Single Barrel, amazing. Mm-hmm. Eagle Rare, amazing. Elijah Craig. Elijah Craig's single batch is really, really good. And Elijah Craig has a 12-year-old, which is at this point impossible to get in Germany if I want to pay something that is below 3 digits.
If you ever, my current favorite bourbon is the cask strength. I think it's a single barrel 291. Won a bunch of awards a couple of years back. They cure it with aspen staves because it's from Colorado, which imparts a spiciness to it. And of course, we all know that drinking anything that the aspen growth gives you is incredibly dangerous, as we learned in Hell on the High Plains. No, not Horror at Headstone Hill. So, do you have anything new coming down the pipeline that we can tease for? Listen, I would talk whiskey with Manu basically all night. Give me 5 minutes. I'll bring a couple of bottles out. We'll just talk whiskey for.
Well, if the room wasn't in the state it was in, I could just deactivate my virtual background because my whiskey shelf is like literally over there.
We are kindred spirits, my friend.
Well, I'm going to finish my answer to the previous question
go ahead,
first.
Sorry.
So mostly Scotch, but I found a lot of bourbons that I really enjoy. I have some Japanese whiskeys I really enjoy, like basically anything that Suntory puts out. Yeah. these guys know how to blend. Like with Scotch, I'm not a big fan of blended whiskeys, with the exception of Johnny Walker. But the Japanese blends are just insane. I don't know how these guys do it.
Somebody gave me a bottle. I will text you afterwards on Discord and let you know what it is, because off the top of my head, I don't remember it. And I was blown away. It's a 10-year Japanese whiskey, and it is delicious.
Yeah, and I'm really happy to try basically anything. I have tried the most exotic thing I've ever tried, and I wholeheartedly cannot recommend anyone else try, was an Egyptian whiskey. They still make whiskey from distills that are leftovers from when the Germans had their big imperialist colonization projects going on down there. And everything they make, as far as I know, is purely for export because of obviously their laws. They're not allowed to sell it in that, but they can sell it. They can brew it in Egypt and then sell it to other countries. And a friend of mine bought a bottle when he visited Egypt on vacation, and bought it in duty free, and then let us try it. And it was the most vile whiskey I had ever tasted.
Somebody got me an Armenian liquor. I don't think it was a whiskey. I think it was technically qualified as a liqueur, but it came in this Maltese Falcon looking bottle.
Oh,
so we opened it up to try it, and it tasted like sour feet. And so we each had a little bit just to say we tried it, and then poured it out so I could keep the bottle like it's sitting like right up there.
Wow, that must be a thing, because that is basically my experience with that Egypt whiskey. that's how it tastes in my memory. It was absolutely horrible, and I'm sorry if I apologize to Egypt, and I'm sure you guys are lovely and everything, but that particular whiskey, it was just vile.
But DM James, I will be there next year, and I will go have a round with the Knights. That would be awesome. If we can get Manu out to a Gen Con.
We'll keep that on the back burner and see if anything ever works out in that regards. But yeah, flight and everything, that's gonna be expensive, and then I'd need to spend a lot of time in the US, otherwise it just wouldn't be
work
that much.
Just 4 days
much
worth
it.
Yeah.
So that'd be like my yearly vacation, which I then had to coordinate with the wife. But my wife already is registered in the United States, because she once traveled over United States airspace, and that means you have to get registered and everything.
I think we have a plan
with DHS. So yeah, we may have something coming up in the coming years. Would be fun though. It definitely would be fun. Would love to meet like all of the Pinnacle guys at some point.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, some things that might be coming up. So that is a very loaded question at the moment for me. I mostly do my smaller products on, and yes, I'm absolutely intentionally dancing around the point now. I do most of my I do most of my smaller products, like you could say, on a whim. Like there's this one thing that sparks an idea, and then my brain goes into hyper focus overdrive, and it's just that thing for the next 2-3 weeks, and then there's an additional phase of some testing of it, and then it gets packaged and uploaded. I believe Furious Magic was from initial idea to publication was, I believe, 6 weeks, which is insane and probably not that healthy. And it could have maybe used some more playtesting, but all the feedback I got from people using it say they are really, really happy with it. So that is something that keeps happening with my smaller products, and it's partially the reason why I need a separate bed for my ego to sleep in at this point regarding certain things, because I make these small things and they just work, which at one point it's gonna come around and bite me in the butt royally. but that point
that day is
yet
not
to come.
today.
That day is not today. So but I have been working on something a lot bigger, and I have been working on that for months now. I don't even remember when I actually started with it. Just like fast lane hacking it wasn't really a teaser, but it was something I put out, and then I did a really big thing that incorporated it. The same thing is going to happen to Furious Magic and Furious Hacking in the future. I honestly cannot get more precise than that because I just don't know when it will all come together. Like writing stuff is hard. Sprawl Runners effectively has been the first words of what was to become Sprawl Runners I wrote in 2012.
Oh, wow.
So that was 8 years from when it was first laid down as something completely different until it got released as Sprawl Runners. So I'm hoping that I won't take this long because, well, teasing this now in the near future and then taking another 8 years to
Nobody knows what it is. You're fine.
Would probably not work. Yeah, but it's gonna be a lot bigger than my usual stuff. It's gonna incorporate Furious Hacking and Furious Magic, which once again brings me into that troublesome territory I had with the release of Sprawl Runners, where I really wanted to give people a discount who had already purchased fast lane hacking, and with one product that is doable under Swag. With multiple products, it's gonna be an absolute pain, which touches on something that I get asked often, like, so Manu, when are you going to become an ace?
Yeah,
I get asked that a lot, and there are a few reasons why I don't really consider it. For one, I have a process that works, and it works for Swag, and I don't know if it would work if I were to switch to becoming like a full-blown ace publisher. And I am very aware that a lot of these points may just exist in my head and nobody would actually care. But I feel like I am a well and successfully established Swag publisher who makes quality products people enjoy. And in my mind, I feel that people would judge me differently if I were to become an ace.
and I
don't know if I would be able to satisfy that demand that the ace label brings from people. Yeah. So those are probably the biggest points. Smaller points are I don't really need to be an ace. Like, sure, I would get a bigger percentage of my profits, but that's neither here nor there. It would allow me to use Kickstarter. That would be like a big plus. But I've talked a lot with people who ran Kickstarters, and I'm getting cold sweat from all the stress.
I run two, and I ended up running the second one, finishing up in the hospital. So I do not recommend it.
Good. Wait, what's the hospital? Was that related to being?
No.
That's good to hear, at least. But that would be nice. But I don't think I could handle the stress in addition to my day job and other projects. And so the only really other big thing that it would allow me would be to be a real publisher on DriveThruRPG, because that is one point of critique I have for the Swag platform. It's something that Pinnacle is completely innocent about, because they didn't know and they have absolutely zero influence on it. But it's the way DriveThruRPG treats community content publishers. We get so little tools to do basic stuff like email customers. We cannot do that. Run us, and as such, I cannot email vouchers to people who purchased some of my products. And Yeah, there's just a myriad of small things that I cannot do as a community content publisher, but I could do as a regular publisher. And I do have a regular publisher account on DriveThruRPG because I once published it was a pay what you want, or basically free small adventure stuff. So, but that means I have a regular publisher account and I have access to all the tools. So I know what
that do exist that you don't.
Yeah, I know what I could be doing if I had that full tool set, and I have been nagging DriveThruRPG and the community content publisher representatives a lot about this. But I guess the people who could actually utilize those tools are a very, very small minority, and as such, there are sadly no intentions of DriveThruRPG to update the tool set for community content publishers, which is a shame. Like, most of the tools are there. The problem is I would have to ask PEG and basically tell them, hey, for Sprawl runners, I want to do this and that. Could you please do that? And I'm not going to do that because I guess once or twice they would probably help, but it's just a workload they are not prepared to handle and probably should. And they honestly, they just shouldn't. It wouldn't be fair to them. But as Richard points out, the Sprawl Runners Countdown deck is a proper publisher product. That is true. I know my own products and where I publish them. Yep, definitely.
All right, so let's wrap this up with a final question here. If you could give one piece of advice to people who are wanting to jump into this, who are thinking about publishing on the SWAG program, what would it be? Like, what is your like, some pieces of advice we had in September were, don't worry about getting feedback because you can always update the file. Like, what you put out doesn't have to be the final version. It's the first version ready for consumption. You can, incorporate errata. We had some people saying, just do it. If just start writing. If you can start writing, get one thing written. And once you get one thing written, the next one's a little easier and a little easier. So if you had a piece of advice to give for SWAGtember here, what would it be?
So I see a lot of the juicy nuggets have already been disclosed by my fellow publishers. So thanks, guys. That's great. That is great advice to put out.
It's also on me because, again, time zones are hard.
One advice I would give people is be present and part of the community. I've seen, because as I said earlier in the stream, when SWAG started, a lot of us watched what got published and how it did very, very closely. And a huge trend we noticed was that, and still is that the products that get put out by people who are part of the community and who are known quantities, those products sell, and those are the products that people are interested into trying and talk about. And there are a few products on there that may be good. We don't know because we do not know the people behind them. We have no idea how they are. So it could be good. But it could also be just a money grab, like something they quickly converted from another system and then put the logo on and pushed it out. And well, some of these things cost like $6-7, and a lot of people are not going to spend that amount of money on the off chance that it might be good. So like my big advice would be, be part of the community and be present. You don't have to be like the guy that is there every day and replies to every second Facebook or Discord message, but just hang around, let people know who you are, what you're writing, what you're working on, like maybe get feedback from select people, like cultivate your own feedback circle. I guess that's like a second good tip. But like find the people that know how to give feedback and give good feedback, and just cultivate your own feedback circle on wherever you are part of the community, and that's gonna show. It means you are interested and you are invested, and you are not just there to make a quick buck, but you are there to make products for the community you are part of. You are going to make something you love for the people that love the system you also love.
Well, awesome. Manu, thank you for joining me for this. Again, apologies for the confusion a couple of weeks ago, but glad to have you on. When the new project is getting close, let me know. I'd love to have you back on the show and talk about it and get some articles up.
There will be, I'm not sure if it's going to be a public beta test, but there's going to be public material about it and a lot more information coming out. I am currently aiming at early next year for the first big wave of publishing, the first big wave of information, to put that out and just a bit test the waters and see what people think. There's a lot of stuff to iron out until then still.
Well, thank you. And everyone else, if you have a product that is coming out on Swag, reach out. Go to SWAGuniverse.com. Let me know. info@SWAGuniverse.com is how you get a hold of me. I want to write an article about it. I want to have you on the stream. I want a signal boost for your product. So please reach out. We've got people scheduled all the way through the middle of November at this point, and more authors are just reaching out, which is awesome.
Nice. Lovely. Love to see it happen. Love to see it grow.
Agreed. All right. Well, until next time, get out there, play some Savage Worlds. May all your dice ace. And on Thursday, I'm on vacation, but Chris Landauer will be interviewing the folks from 23rd Century Publications or Productions on Savage Battle Lords. So tune in at the normal time on Thursday, which is 7 Eastern, and sometime far later where Manu is. Or you can catch it. You can catch it on YouTube when it goes live the next day. Have a good one, everyone.
Bye.